What's up, junkies? Welcome back in for another edition of Pigskin Junkies. Myself, Michael Larson, the big brother, Jared Larson. Week 5 of college football is here. Last week, not a great week for Jared and I, but it happens.
Last week's was stinker.
Yeah, it happens. So Jared's running total is 11-9. I am 11-7. And head-to-head, I am in the lead 3-0. But I think, Jared, you ended up
Believe it.
Coming out on top of the overall records. But is there any breaking news, I guess, or anything going on in the college football world that has caught your eye that you'd like to talk about? I think for the most part, it's been pretty easy.
Is this a trick question?
No, I'm just curious.
You'll see this later in my picks, but I thought that the game, I was actually in Athens last night for work, and I was afraid that early on in that game that there might not be an Athens, Georgia for me to go to last night. I thought Notre Dame showed up, and I was pretty impressed by them. Takeaway, shocker, SEC continues to be the most dominant conference, and it's really not close.
Ooh.
I mean, seriously, if you think that it's different than that, tweet me a reason, a legitimate, well thought out, articulated reason as to why that's not the case.
I
we
will
can have
say,
a nice discussion.
I'm going to say right now that the American Conference is better than the Pac-12.
I would say they're better than the ACC.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, they're really
Maybe not the Pac-12. I don't know.
Maybe they're on the same level.
Decent teams in the Pac-12. Like Washington's all right, Oregon's all right. I think Utah's all right. I think USC's actually decent.
It just sucks for Utah because if Moss stays healthy, I think they win last week, and this is still a team in contention. But they've just been banged up every single year, and they just can't seem to stay healthy, and that's why.
Yeah, but that's their style of play, though. They're extremely physical.
Yeah. And
so they're going to get injured, and I don't know. When I look at Utah, I don't see them like going 12-0. I just don't. I don't think their schedule or their style begets that. I mean, yeah, I know they did it when Urban was there or whatever, but like you were playing in the Mountain West, totally different.
It's true. Oh man, Alex Smith, that team was good.
Yeah, they were.
That team was very good. They gave it to Bama that year in the bowl game, didn't they?
Yeah, in the Sugar Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So you know my opinion on those games. I don't put a lot of stock in that stuff.
I think back then, yeah. I mean, I think it took a huge hit when they made the playoff. That those games became a lot less. If you told me, if like when Iowa or someone say they lose the Big Ten championship game, but Ohio State goes to play for the national championship and they go out and play in the Rose Bowl. Like, they want to be there. And the Pac-12 team is probably the Pac-12 champ. They want to be there. So those games, I feel like, had more weight back then than they did. Than they do now.
Yeah. It's like Michigan State when we played in the... Well, actually, because they beat Ohio State. I take that back. Mm-hmm. Never mind.
Yeah, so they
scratch that, reverse it.
Capital One. And, yeah. They got their face kicked in. But see, that'd be reverse psychology for your statement there. So I'll let you go first, Jared, since you're the talent, even though you're losing 3 games to none.
That's just on head-to-head. I'm still winning.
Hashtag winning.
We're giving out free money. We're printing money on a free podcast. Like, I mean, all I'm asking you to do is just give us a rating. That's it.
That's true. Rate, review, subscribe, please, and follow on Twitter.
I do think I might want to start doing this newsletter thing, though. I like that idea that Scott does, so I might have to start doing it. Anyways, we gave out Navy. I gave out Navy. I got an 11. I didn't put it on BetSperts because I didn't have the login, and then I finally got the login, and it was 10.5, and I'm like, I got 11 at my place. I posted it at 11. There was plenty of 11s. So I didn't put it on there, but hopefully some of you jumped on. This was coming up from last night, if you guys are getting this on Friday. But I had Navy plus 11. I also, on Friday night, so alert, this is tonight if you're picking this up on Friday, I like the Cal Dirty Golden Bears -4, laying 4 at home. I really like this defense. I'm very, very impressed. And I think Friday night, Berserkly is going to be a little goofy, and I expect Cal Golden Bears to get it done.
There you go. Cal, I like it. Next up for me, I got the Badgers at home against Northwestern. I know it's a lot of points, -24.5. So surpriser for me. This is going to be. I'm going to lay a lot of points this week. Or excuse me, I'm going to eat points this week.
Wisconsin, Nebraska can't. Nebraska.
Northwestern's horrible.
Northwestern, they can't score. How are they going to score? And Wisconsin, this one actually came close for me because I look at that and say Wisconsin is running the ball whether they are losing, winning, or tied. And so covering a bigger number for them, I think, is easier to do as just as a function of their play calling and the strengths that they have on offense. So sorry, I jumped in there, but what number did you get? 24, 25?
24.5.
Okay.
Yeah, I just think they can't move the ball offensively. This is a Northwestern team that was supposed to be fun and exciting, and you take them out and they travel on the road. I just think Wisconsin's gonna be over quick. The question is just will they get backdoor covered? And I hope not.
Yeah, it's gonna be swinging wide open, but I don't think Northwestern knows how to move the ball. Mm-hmm. I did forget to mention Cal is playing your boy Herm Edwards, and freshman quarterback on the road also plays into the selection of the Dirty Golden Bears here.
And I try not to dive hardcore into the Herm Edwards thing, so little teaser, you'll get some Herm in the NFL podcast.
Leave it on the grass.
Leave it on the grass.
Pick number 2, the Toledo Rockets in the Glass Bowl, +2.5 against BYU. I just don't know how BYU has anything left in the tank. They got the brakes beat off them last week with Washington. They played 2 overtime games before that. This is a brutal, brutal schedule that this team has played in the first month of the season. Now they got to go cross country to, of all places, Toledo, Ohio, and play a frisky team. A little bit of action on the road. So I'll take Toledo and the 2.5 points here against an exhausted BYU team.
I always love Toledo's that team that you kind of look out for them on the card. They're always in there. They're a team that kind of feel like score points anytime they go out on the football field. So I'm with you there, Jared. I like that pick. Next up,
yep,
I'm going back to the well one last time. It's a lot of points, and I hate it.
No way. You're not doing it.
UConn is so bad.
Ugh.
They are horrible. This is a team that's like not even wanting to continue their football program. They suck. The civil
Mike
conflict.
is not eating a... Oh, jeez.
Whatever that is. UCF left the trophy there. I think Heupel's pissed. This team's going to be pissed because all these haters came out of the woodwork, and they're just going to absolutely murder these guys. Murder.
So I heard on another podcast this week that Randy Edsall's contract pays him a bonus if he scores first and leads at half, and or leads at halftime of this game. Not wins the game, scores first and or leads at halftime. I've not fact checked that, but the fact that would be amazing if that was actually written into the contract.
Yeah.
So what number did you get? 44?
Yeah, 44. That's me.
Oh man, sweet mother of mercy! Micah will not be eating all weekend.
I know.
He'll be living on a steady diet of college
carb diet. Right now.
Geez.
It gets a little bit better. Not enough to get me in the plus side of the equation, but it gets better.
Yeah, he had some veggies later on in the show. This may be a head-to-head pick. Purdue +1.5. The Golden Gophers of Minnesota. I have not bet against them all year. They've been the luckiest team as I can see in college football, and so I just don't trust them going on the road laying points here. That's really what it boils down to. Purdue potentially will be getting their quarterback back. Candidly, I don't care. I think the backup in some instances is just as good as I can't think of the guy's name's not coming to me.
More,
but I'll say No, so Rondale Moore is
the
the
receiver. I thought. Sorry,
who's a beast. Yeah, he's a beast. The quarterback, I can't remember his name. I will take Purdue plus the 1.5. You know, probably worth taking a little nibble on the money line, seeing if you can save yourself the juice or potentially even get a little bit of comeback on the line. So I will take Purdue as selection number 3.
Is it Sindelar or Sindelar? I can't remember. I don't know if I'm saying
Sindelar's. It's Sindelar's the guy that would potentially be coming back.
Elisha.
Huntelaar.
Yeah.
Isn't that a soccer player?
Yeah, he played for the Dutchman. Klaus Huntelaar, the goal hunter.
Klaus Huntelaar.
Yeah, he was a striker. But that's talking soccer. I'm going to move on. Maryland at home against State College. Is it College Town? Is that what Maryland's called? Like when their nickname or like their city?
College Park.
College Park. There we go. I was halfway there. I live in College Park. Yep. I got the Terps plus 6.5 at home against the Penn State Nittany Lions. It's a Friday game too, so if you hear this early,
Friday alert.
My parlay is. It sucks when you have a Friday game on a parlay because you're sitting there, you're like, come on, and if it misses, you're just like, well, there goes that money, and I haven't even gotten to the meat of the schedule. So, but hey, it happens.
Dirty Terps. I like that pick as well. They did not make the card for me, but I certainly a lean. Pick number 4 for me, Virginia plus 13 against Notre Dame. Huge letdown spot for Notre Dame. Extremely physical. Played their guts out, as I said. Hung with Georgia really for 2.5 quarters. And then kind of, you saw the separation in depth. You saw the separation in talent come out in the back half of that third quarter and into the fourth. Notre Dame got one late to cut it down to 6, and ultimately, I believe they were inside the number the whole time last week. But I think it's just a tough spot. I think Virginia is going to be up for this. I really like Bronco Mendenhall as a coach. I feel like that's well documented on this podcast, my affinity for him. And I will take the Virginia Cavaliers getting 13 points. This one's getting away from me. I saw 12 open at 11. I saw 12s earlier today, and I'm betting it now at 13. So I don't understand the movement. Obviously, maybe it gets to 14. I obviously don't have a good grasp on where this number's headed. So I think I'm just going to take 13 and hope that I do not miss out on a 14 as a function of betting it a little earlier.
Mm-hmm. I always hate that when you put it in and then it slides, which sucks. And you're like, no, I want those points given to me, please. But yeah, it happens. So I'm going to give you back some more points now. I know I'm still way, way in the hole because UCF is a 44-point favorite. But Nebraska at home plus 17.5 against the Buckeyes. I think this place Lincoln's going to be going nuts. Scott Frost, I feel like, has had this game circled on his calendar since last year when the schedule came out. Do I think they win? No. But do I think that they cover 17.5? Yes.
That's my next pick, so I agree with Micah. I actually wrote down to wait because I think this is the 8 o'clock East Coast ABC game. I think you will see a monsoon tidal wave of Ohio State money. Late night chasers trying to get even or the get back game. And I think this number will go up. I think it's too many points. Nebraska they should have beat Colorado, despite the fact that I was on Colorado. They should have beat them. Last week they had 700 yards of offense and just kept turning the stinking ball over and beat Illinois by a margin that's much wider than the final score indicated. I think they'll hang in this game. I don't know if they can win. I've been quite impressed with Ohio State this whole season, but I think you could potentially see some 19s in later on in the evening. So hang on as long as possible to this one, but then don't forget to bet Nebraska before 8 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah, I'm happy but terrified that you and I are on the same page with that. But I think I took it at 17.5, but I agree with you, Jared. I think a lot of people are going to see that, or their card's not going to go their way, and they're going to try and find that game for that night. And people are usually going to bet on the game that they want to watch. I would say Joe Public is mostly going to do that. So there you go. And last pick for me, I got the Cardinals sin, but they've covered every game all year. And that's the Auburn Tigers -10 at home against Mississippi State. I'm terrified, but I finally caved and I did it because let me tell you,
-10.
Yes, and I tweeted it out on my personal account when I saw Gus Malzahn in the locker room after they beat Texas A&M.
We're going like this.
Yes, when he said that, I immediately. I was dipping the toe outside the boat. I was like, I don't know about this team yet. When Gus did that and I saw him dance in the locker room, I'm in. I am in on this team. I'm in.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Because he knows.
Yeah. Well, it's so obvious when that guy thinks he has what is necessary to win versus when he's just like,
I know, which is how bad does it suck when he knows, like, shit. We don't get the goods this year.
Yeah.
Don't have the goods.
It's horrible. But I think this team, and I know Jared loves to bet against Mississippi State. This is at home, big home, home SEC game. The crowd's going to be nuts because of last week's game. I wish I was there. My wife's going, but I'm just going to be sitting on the couch watching because I've been gone too many weekends, so I need to be here. I'm excited. It's going to be a fun game to watch. Another late night kick because apparently it's illegal for us to play at noon. So
good.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of like the noon ones, and when I'm at home watching, I like noon.
Well, I will be in the Heezy on Saturday night. Can't wait. Gonna be the first game of the year. SEC home opener. Gonna be fantastic. I could see this game playing out a lot like last week. That's why I didn't lay the number, because the back door is just going to be swinging. I think that we'll win. I obviously, as I've said before, looking for situations to fade Mississippi State. And this defense is the real deal. There's no question about that in my mind. But I think with a freshman quarterback who will now be starting his 5th game, I still think there are situations where if you get up early, you begin to look to burn the clock down because you know that they're not going to be able to score on your defense, especially if you can make the opposing team one-dimensional. Mm-hmm. And so I think you really saw that last week. I mean, what was the final score, 28-20? That game was never in doubt after the first, let's call it 10 minutes of game time. Mm-hmm. So final score, not really interested in margin. I watched every snap of that game, and again, it was just completely one-sided. So I would expect something similar this week. 10's just a little too high for me, but I would find a way to get Auburn into some teasers or maybe even some money line parlays.
I'm just hoping. I'm not hoping. I think we saw a little tease of it last week with Joey Gatewood, and I think Gatewood's going to get a lot more looks on the power run. And you've seen when they put him in. That running
3rd
game.
and 3, it's 3rd and 3 or shorter should be Joey Gatewood. Game over.
Bo had a really good run last week, though. But if they do take that lead and you're running the ball with Joey Gatewood at quarterback and you're just draining clock that way, they can still score touchdowns pretty quick. So that's why I'm thinking the way I am with the -10. So that brings us to Gun.
I got game 6.
I got a 6. You got 6 this week.
Keeping it in the state of Alabama, I am going to take Bama -24 in the first half.
Okay, I like that.
Reason being, Ole Miss. I mean, this Cal offense is not that great, and they hung 30-something on them last week. Like, I see this playing out very similar to last year. I could see. I mean, Ruggs is a dude. Jerry Jeudy obviously is the man. Tua is just dropping dimes everywhere. I bet I'm anticipating Alabama to score between 35 and 42 points in the first half. And I just don't see Ole Miss scoring a ton, what would be required, 2 touchdowns to match that in the first half. So I'll take Bama and I'll lay the 24. A rare instance of me laying some serious lumber.
Unlike me, all I do is lay the lumber.
I could just eats the points.
I love points. They taste so good. Oh, is this a challenge for pass interference? We have a challenge. So Jared and I are watching the
NFL.
Yeah, we're watching the
I was watching
Thursday
the
night
college
game.
game.
Oh, so Jared actually doing the right thing. I'm intrigued to see how this pans out. So this is Jared and I recording live, obviously, on Thursday night for the Friday morning podcast. So watching some Thursday night football.
Football.
I hate that rule. If that comes down to college, I'm a freak out. So head to head, we're back.
Oh, and they're challenging I'm not a huge fan of that either. The challengeability, is that a word?
Yeah, I guess.
All right, anyways. Yeah,
Slippery slope. So gun to your head. Jared 1-2 in the first week back of gun to your head. I went 2-1. This week, only 2 ranked matchups. Jared already played his card on Virginia. I'm going to go right up against him and go with Notre Dame. I think the Irish showed a lot last week. This is a Virginia team that, yes, I think you're right, Jared. Maybe they come out and they get hype, but they squeaked by a Florida State team, correct? Am I thinking the right
They won by
game?
7.
Yes. Florida State
They won by
team.
7, and they played Old Dominion last week in a huge sandwich spot.
Mm-hmm. So I get it. The Notre Dame team, big game, but this is also at South Bend, and to me, yes, maybe is there a bit of a letdown spot after last week? There could be, because Notre Dame obviously had a lot of motivation to go to Athens and show out. But I think Notre Dame gets the job done at home against the Cavaliers.
Yeah, I don't feel great about my under 9.5 ticket on Notre Dame after last week.
Yeah, and
that's for sure.
It's still in that weird. You're still figuring teams out. You can overreact and underreact to some of these games because, like I talked about with Ohio State earlier, Nebraska's been wanting to play these boys all season, and this has been the game that everyone's been hyping up. Oh, Ohio State! When they come to town, it's going to be a big game. To where it almost overshadows everything, and it's looked like that Nebraska team almost bought into it as well. And you can see that with this Notre Dame team, who I thought looked horrible in week 1 against Louisville, and then now has been improving every single week. Next matchup, we're going to head west. Washington.
Pac-12 after dark.
Yeah, gross. Washington at home against the Trojans, who had a big win last week against Utah. We talked about it a little bit on the recap. Jared, how do you feel about this game?
Yeah, what's this number? 10?
Yes, minus 10.5 is what the most recent one I'd seen for Washington.
I don't know. This is a tough spot for USC. They're still on. Are they in the backup quarterback or the third stringer? Do you know?
I haven't seen if he cleared concussion protocol. I mean, he looked pretty out of it. I would doubt he plays this week. I would seriously doubt he plays. So
we don't know.
No.
I'm gonna take the points with USC here. Ooh. I don't love it. This is a really tough spot, but I think this line is inflated probably by a couple points as a function of Washington just blowing the doors off of BYU last week. So they're staying at home, rather coming back home. It's in Seattle. Tough travel spot for the Trojans, but I think this team's loaded with talent. I think Clay Helton knows that he's coaching for his job because Lynn Swann is now out as AD, and typically you see a full clearing of the house when that happens. So we'll take the Trojans here. That's why it's called gun to your head. I'm not crazy about it. Certainly not a play.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about this either, but I do enjoy the fact that both of these games we're taking the opposite sides. I got Washington.
Ooh.
So I got them at home. This is a big game for the Huskies. I'm hoping Eason has a big game. To me, it's fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. Well, you ain't gonna fool me again.
Now watch me hit this draft.
All USC did last week was throw bombs. And I think you're going to see Washington look at the tape, figure out how they can take away these deep threats from these USC receivers who, if you take the ball away from their best athletes, which are on the perimeter, I think you win this game. And I think Washington takes care of business at home when the lights come on.
I do love Chris Peterson.
I know.
I love him as a coach. So that side, I mean, if I would probably be inclined to play USC on the money line before I played them on the spread.
Yeah.
Because to me, this is a game that USC wins or Washington wins by 2 touchdowns. So maybe USC will be in the money line parlay, the little lottery ticket dabble.
Ooh.
I didn't get any feedback on that last week. No one said whether or not they wanted to see that, or I mean, it was a loser, so it didn't matter. But
I think you got to hit one or two.
yeah, exactly. People aren't going to start playing them until I hit a couple.
It's true. So,
which is fine.
Do you want to recap yours and I'll recap mine?
Sure. Cal -4, Toledo +2.5, Purdue +1.5, Virginia +13, Nebraska at a number to be determined. Wait on that one, and then Bama first half -24.
I got Wisconsin -24.5. Buckle up your seatbelts. It's going to be ugly. UCF -44.
UC fast.
UC fast. What a roller coaster that was if you had the spread last week for them. Actually, it was the most bet game last week. Fun fact.
Yeah.
Which is why they lost, of course. Joe Public. Mush.
Huge square. Yeah, it was a huge square sharp divide.
Maryland +6.5 at home against Penn State. Nebraska +17.5 versus Ohio State. And Auburn at home -10 against Mississippi State.
War Eagle.
Yeah, I'm going to be sweating that one, but I'm very excited to watch the Tigers play. So I got a review, and apparently someone doesn't like our intro music. So if you think it's time after 2 years that I find a new intro song, tweet us, let me know.
What's wrong with...
Apparently not everyone loves EDM, Jared.
Well, we're not like Bill Simmons. I can't pay Pearl Jam to do our intro music every time. We're too poor.
That's true.
You guys haven't signed up enough for enough of these draft.com things. Sign up for a few more of those, and then maybe we'll get a new intro music.
Not that, yeah.
Pay for it then.
Well, oh yeah, I guess that's true. Did I say that on here? Do they have college for draft.com?
No.
No? Okay, well, if any of you college folks...
DraftKings does.
Yeah, which we don't have any promos with them. So, never mind. I was going to give you guys a draft.com promo. Pigskin Junkies. No spaces, all lowercase. Get a free $3 play. Heyo. So,
boom.
That is going to do it, though, for this week's edition of Pigskin Junkies for college football, that is. NFL coming out Saturday at noon. Scott and Jared both liking the card this weekend. Some juicy head-to-heads there. Going to be a lot of fun. Lots of good football this weekend. Thanks so much for tuning in, Junkies.
See ya.